But he doesn't have Call of Duty. He doesn't have the full game.
Well, I don't know.
Nah, just fuck me. Don't worry about me. You guys want to play Call of Duty? Play Call of Duty. I'm not lonely.
But I do want to talk about something on this broadcast. I mean, as all you guys already know. All right, let me not be rude. Let me introduce our cast here today. My buddy Guagmo over here. This guy's a legend. This guy's a homie. He is
Why are
an
you lying
ace.
to them, bro?
Well, I don't know, because I'm an asshole. But also because this dude's an ace I mean, he's an ace combat veteran, dude. He's been there since the since PS3, since before then, probably.
PS2.
Yeah, bro, playing ace combat PS2. Are you still playing it?
Man. Hell yeah, got 7. I got 7, and I still have the copy of Ace Combat 5 Unsung War on PS2. I just don't have a PS2 to play it.
What does it mean I don't have it installed? Oh my god.
Oh, no way, bro. Okay, so yeah, we're gonna have to fucking play DMZ. Because somebody forgot to install the updated version of multiplayer.
It says installing. Damn it. Fuck!
Alright, I'll play a couple rounds without you. So anyway, I don't wait, bro. I'm very impatient.
So after that introduction, so who we have next?
So next we got my buddy Slayer, and everyone in the channel already knows him. I think he was already packing it up, so unfortunately he's not going to be packing it up. But you know, he's just doing his normal shit. You know. Yeah. So anyway, today's topic is.
Got to mention. Well, I'm just gonna mention it actually, just so that everyone's aware. You're gonna hear a lot of bubbly sounds once in a while come through my mic. Don't worry about it.
You guys be the judge of what that may bong rips, but may or may not be. Anyway. So yeah, we were talking earlier about double standard. All right, we'll label this double standards in the divorce market. It is basically a market now.
The divorce market.
It is, bro.
God, it sounds like an episode of like something that Brian would do. Welcome to what was that fucking radio show you started trying to do with Stewie?
I can't remember.
Not Dingo and the Baby, but before that, he wanted to do like something to do with like fucking your morning something. Anyway, just supposed to be like a That's what that title just reminded me of, some Family Guy bullshit.
So yeah, I don't know, man. The way that the divorce laws are currently set up, right? Even before the relationship started, they're still able to take half. Even if some of that stuff was accumulated before the relationship started, and or if the spouse, mainly being female, may or may not have paid for it. Meaning, so I think that if I bought something and we're getting divorced, I'm taking what I bought. And if I bought a majority of the stuff, then I'm taking a majority of the stuff. However, the way the laws are set up is that it doesn't quite work like that.
Yeah, no, it's definitely more gravitated. The law is definitely more gravitated towards the woman's side when it comes to divorce rate. Like when it comes to getting the divorce, the woman's definitely going to get more from the man rather than the man from the woman. In some special cases, I've seen special cases though. I will admit where the man does make it out on top and actually does get, you know, but these are like special cases with that the wife or girlfriend or wife, where the wife is just fucking god awful, like actually human scum, and the judge clearly sees that and is like, yeah, no, I'm going for dad's side of the divorce. The kids are gonna go with him. He's gonna get this.
Oh yeah, that also has to do with like when there's children involved. Most states, they want the mom to have. They'll give the mom custody, and sometimes most divorced women, what they'll do is sometimes a lot of them I've seen it to where they like instead of going and getting the job, they make the father pay for like child support and then alimony and stuff, and then they just live off that.
Well, okay, so what's funny about that, right, is because, well, I'm just gonna say, I'm a child of a divorced family, and when my mom and dad got divorced, it was like 50-50 custody at first, and she had us at first, but then out of nowhere, like, I don't remember there being a court situation or nothing like that, but all of a sudden we went from like having her to having him as primary. He ended up becoming primary after like a year.
Too close.
Yeah,
And then after that, it was you know, he got more out of it than she did, which was weird for me to think about. Like when I think about, that's why I'm saying there was special cases, but she wasn't a bad woman. I mean, shit, I lived technically with her today, and she's not a bad woman. That wasn't the issue. It was just that she couldn't find a housing situation, like a good housing situation for us within that time frame. We were still living in like those runaway houses.
Oh yeah. Yeah, I think that's another thing that
I got hit up by a little
really
black
broken.
kid once there.
What do you call it?
Gummed me.
What do you call it? Fucking, yeah, I think that's a big important thing is if you are going to claim, like, primary custody, you gotta have a place to live. I mean, that's like number one, man. You gotta have housing.
You have a proper
already set up.
facility, yeah.
And
Like,
I think they should make the laws more
They were fine with the
realistic.
runaway house at first, but after like a while, I guess they're like, yeah, no, you still haven't found a place to put them in. They're gonna have to go with their dad.
Yeah, no, I think that they should make equal and fair laws when it comes to this. I think that there should be a time frame if they don't have a decent housing situation set up. Say they can't live in the same house together due to domestic violence or different reasons. You know, if they can't civilly live peacefully, then yeah, they should be separated. They shouldn't be living in the same house. And if she decides that she's going to divorce, and she doesn't already have that set up, and depends on who gets the house, right? That's part of the divorce. But I think in all fairness, I think if, I don't know, so when you hear child support, imagine if it were the other way around. Imagine if it was the dad living off the mom paying child support. I just don't ever see that happening. Like, imagine if that actually happened. They'll get into the world would actually shit a brick.
Reloading.
Hey, question. Did anyone just now notice the, am I the only one here so far that's noticed this new, the new way they have it set up on DMZ?
Yeah, the interface, the interface changed.
You can make a bunch of different active duty soldiers.
Changing mag.
What?
Oh, so you can bring along AI?
No, it's like it's like a class. You know, like how you have classes?
Yeah.
Now you have different active soldiers you can put on. I don't know how to describe it. You'd have to be on DMZ to see what I mean. But I guess we'll set one up with this guy.
Hey, so, Wamba, you were saying after your parents divorced, you lived in a runaway house?
Yeah, halfway. They'll call them halfway runaway houses. They have multiple names for them. But what it is, it's like kind of like a community house where a bunch of different moms or dads with their kids live.
Oh my fucking god! I remember. So I was in the same situation when my birth mom and dad separated. But see, my birth mom and dad were never married, but I remember it happening so clearly. It sticks to me this day. My mom, she was tired of my dad, and she like took a bunch of our shit and she put it in the car, and then we drove off. We left the house, and then we were driving around, and I just remember my mom was we were in a gas station parking lot trying to figure out what to do, and then we went to it was more for like women and stuff. it was mostly women only.
Yeah, it was mostly women and not mine too, but there was like a couple dads.
No, there were no dads at all. Like it was meant for like young women and stuff. Like they even had a rule saying that the cutoff for like males being in there was like fucking like if you had a male child, if he was past like fucking
16 or some shit, 14, like some like teenage year.
Then they wouldn't be allowed to be there. And I also had I had to be around my mom all the time. And I remember,
but see, we also had a community school. Like, well, it wasn't even a school; it was more like a daycare, dude. And it was early as fuck. It was like 4 crack of dawn. I'm talking like 5:30 in the morning type shit. We'd wake up. And at the time I had epilepsy, childhood epilepsy, and I was also on medication for my ADHD. So in the morning I had to wake up even earlier so that I could get up and have. At the time I couldn't take pills. I don't know what. I think my throat would like just reject pills because I was young. And so my mom would have to take the pills because her capsules, just split them open and dump them in applesauce. And I just eat the applesauce, and that's how I get my shit. So I'd have to wake up early enough to do that, and then we'd go to the school from like 5:30, 6-ish is when it would start, and most of it was just napping, watching movies, eating snacks, maybe doing a little bit of like school type work, but mostly just napping and shit, right? And we did that from like I said, 6:30, 7-ish in the morning to like 4 or 5 p.m. at night, and then we'd go back out from that room. We'd be let out of that room because it was a separate building. It wasn't even a room, it was a building, separate building, back to the main building to be with our moms.
That one's on ice.
Yeah, nah.
Why they did that, I don't know. Maybe that was to give the parents time to do their thing, like try to find housing and try to look for work and shit without having to deal with their kids, maybe. I don't know, but yeah, it was not fun. I got bit up by a little black kid there once. He fucking ran up to me out of nowhere, grabbed my arm and just bit on my fucking finger.
Nah, but yeah, nah, where I live,
Cannibal kid walked up trying to bite my finger, he gets socked in the nose.
He did get socked in the nose.
That's funny.
Nah, but so I remember like a lady, she would like, so I remember there was the main house, and then you walked up some stairs, and there were like rooms, and they had like beds in them, like, you know, like bunk beds and stuff. And I shared a room with my mom, like, I slept in a room with my mom and I think like a couple other women.
Switching mag.
And I remember I think it was like at like 7 something, some lady would say, come down, because it was sort of religious, and so every morning they do like a prayer thing. Yeah, but, oh man, I remember living in one of those. Fuck.
Dude, so, the thing is, I used to go to church a long time ago. Like, my family was starting to get concerned that maybe I just didn't really give a fuck about religion. I was too concerned with other things as a young kid, and they didn't like that at all. Which is understandable.
I mean, so, here's the thing, I'm sorry
hold on,
to say.
Alright.
This has to pertain to, you can be religious and not go to church. I mean, you can believe in God and shit, but you don't have to go to church every fucking Sunday. You don't have to sit there.
You don't have to go to church at all, really. It's just about how you believe. It's just what you believe in. Like, for me, I don't believe in shit personally at all. Yeah. So, like, I'm a complete atheist. Like, I don't believe there is a fucking God. I don't believe that, you know, when we die, we go to heaven. I believe when we die, we can become spirits, sure. You can linger in this world, but that's about as far as we go. Stay here.
It's just too grim.
As far as I go, to say we have a soul, and that soul can be trapped and bound to the earth where we die.
I don't know, the way I see religion...
Or where our body lays to rest, really.
Alright, bro, irrefuted. Jesus was a person. Alright, okay, here's the thing.
Yeah,
Jesus was a person.
Human, but he definitely wasn't the son of God.
Well, that's your opinion. Because again, you said you're an atheist, so you don't personally believe. That's your personal truth. Alright? So that boils down to an opinion.
Okay, well,
But it is a
So
fact.
if you're a believer in Jesus, do you believe that he's the white Jesus that everyone says, or is
Yeah,
he
then
supposed to be
that's
this-
my opinion. I can believe there's a Hispanic Jesus. That's just my opinion, because it's what I believe. You know?
But see, like when you think about that, when people say like, "Oh yeah, Jesus is white," that's what really gets me. It's like, yeah, but how? He was born in.
Yeah, he was
Israel.
born in Israel. Yes, he's Hebrew.
He's a Hebrew, and Hebrews,
Yeah.
especially the ones that are born in Israel.
Yeah,
have
they're
a
dark skin, bro. They got
they're
that
not even
desert
dark
tan.
skin. They're just tan. Very like
Desert tan, bro.
not fair skin at all. But every time you ever see
You know, with a religious thing. Here's the thing, bro. When the Romans, when they killed Jesus, 3 days after the Romans whacked Jesus, 3 days later, yeah, Jesus. That's what Easter's about, man. Yeah, that's what Jesus is about, bro. All right, that's what Easter's about, bro. That's what Easter's about. It's 3 days after Jesus got whacked. He got resurrected or something.
resurrection. What?
No,
You got the resurrection.
No, he came back to say his. He came back to
Spray his lovely seed all over.
No, yeah. Fine. I'm trying to remember. It was something like he had to tell his disciples one more thing before he ascended to be with his Father.
Oh
Yeah. But the thing is, the crazy thing
that
is,
Jesus was forgiven or some shit.
yeah,
Jesus
but
couldn't
back
accept that, and he still hung himself.
back to the point. Alright, so he had all these disciples, bro, and the Romans, they started torturing the fuck out of these disciples. Not a single one of them ratted out on Jesus. You gotta be honest, bro. If they're taking nails to your testicles, and I mean they're really putting the hooks into you, man. They're really torturing you, man. They're doing that torture bullshit. You gotta think, bro. After a while,
Okay.
bro, at least some of them gotta snitch or say something, but none of them ever did. That's why I believe that, that really happened. The Romans were tough.
Like, see, my whole thing isn't about God. Like, I don't care about the person. My whole thing is with the Bible. How people use the Bible as like, oh, it's the absolute truth and only truth. Like, well, here's the thing, right? You think about the facts of history of how the Bible was written. It wasn't written by one man. It was written by multiple generations of men.
Yeah, well, the
Scholars.
Bible's been rewritten too many times.
Over time, too, they had to start translating this while still continuing to write the Bible because at some point the language got lost. So they couldn't really understand it. So they had to start having people translate that could understand the language as it was a dying tongue and stuff. Because languages were developing over time, and the Romans were taking the Hebrews and making them learn Roman and making them forget Hebrew. So Hebrew is becoming slowly a forgotten tongue. The only reason it still has an inkling today is because Jews held on to it. Some Jews held on to it and they stayed firm to their beliefs. But my thing is, like, it was written by multiple people throughout history, and a lot of the accounts, start, aligning weird, don't even align at all. And so it becomes a thing of, people are using it to say it's the absolute truth, but people still look at it as it's just stories that are supposed to help you. It's like reading one of, what's that one dude that did a bunch of poems about animals? Sinop?
I think it was Aristotle.
No, I think it's Sinop.
No, I know what you're talking. Yeah, I know there was like an ant.
Like an op in it. And I think it had like an op in his name. At the end. Something op.
I think it was Aristotle. Yeah, he.
Not Aristotle. Aristotle was a different type of philosopher. This was a different guy. I have to look it up.
I know who you're talking about. Yeah,
I know. It's not Aristotle though.
I know, but I'm saying he wrote fables.
Fables.
That had like a meaning behind them. There's like the boy who cried sheep. I mean, when you fake an emergency, eventually people are not gonna want to come. That shows something. Yeah, same with
Aesop. That's his name, Aesop.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking of, but
Yeah.
See, I'm
It
not
was
gonna
close,
say.
because Aristotle, like, it had the A, but there was a sop. I remember there'd be a sop. It's
Who
kinda like
fucking
that,
cares
where
what
his
his
stories-
fucking name was?
His
We're gonna
stories
get
were just
back to
about
the
animals
point.
doing stuff, right? And then when the animals did the thing, there was a consequence. That's what it is. That's what those stories from the Bible are to me, is that they're just stories about people who did something, or were doing something, and there was a consequence. And there was like a moral to the story, in most of the stories.
Hey, SM.
Well, I mean, if we look at it like a bunch of stories, like fables and bullshit like that, then we're missing the.
That would be better. But if people
yeah, no, it'd be nice if I could talk. Then we're missing the point of the Bible entirely. It's not a. I mean, yeah, true. It has stories in it about, you know, the whole idea of the Bible is a guide to how to live a good life, how to be a good person, how to instill morals in society. And the thing is, you see, bro, fucking, you know, every country has different laws. Every country has different standards. But religion's not a country and can be taught across different people of different backgrounds, different ethnic groups, different whatever. It can be carried on through time, and it can, you know, the thing is, it's not a government. It's not never going to collapse. It's a religion. It's an ideology. It's a thought. It's not a physical object that can be taken. Now, the Bible is a physical object, but the messages in it, you know, once it's in your head, once you memorize it, once you learn it, then that sticks with you. And in fact, the crazy thing is, a lot of countries started trying to what's the word I'm looking for? Censor the Bible. Because a lot of countries realize that, hey, you know what, bro? People are into this religious, you know, thing. You know, because it's something that everybody at one point had to believe in.
There's so many separations now too. All the separation. You got the Christians, the Catholics, the Protestants, the fucking. And then you got other religions besides that, out of Christianity. You got the fucking Jehovah's Witnesses. Well, Jehovah's Witnesses considers themselves Christian, but, you know. You got the fucking Mormons, Seventh-day Adventists. All that shit. But then you also got religions that are even older than Christianity, like Hinduism, which I believe is either Hinduism or another one that came from India or one of those countries that were like the first religions.
Yeah, and then you got...
Before Christianity. These things predate Christianity. And that, to me, it's like, you know, if I'm going to follow religion, personally, I feel like it should be the one that was the oldest. Because that feels like there's something there. Like, why would someone all of a sudden, back in that day, be like, oh, there's a god. His name is Shin.
But then again, when it comes to that, a lot of those older religions are now mythologies. Because, like, okay, so like the Greeks and the Romans, they share a lot of the same gods. The Greek and Roman gods are basically the same. It's just they were...
It's just that they were named something different and had slightly different powers.
But the reason that they exist, right? The reason they exist is to explain how the world works.
And
so they believe this guy had
the same shit too, but they just added more.
Yeah, then you have the paganists and all that shit. But the whole reason that all exists, these mythologies, the reason that it exists is to explain how the world works. They believe this guy in a chariot carried around the sun. And so he, you know, rode around the world and carried around the sun or whatever.
And
so
there was
whenever
another one that, like, carried the moon too.
Yep. So the whole reason is to explain how the laws of physics work. But the thing is, there's something called science and modern advancements.
Yeah.
So the thing is, when Isaac Newton discovered the laws of physics, because here's the thing, he didn't, here's what I hate people say, Isaac Newton invented physics. He didn't invent physics. Physics were already a thing. He defined what the physics were. He was able to explain how they worked and discover how the physics worked so he can write his laws of physics. Okay, but the physics were already there. Gravity was already there. Gravity wasn't a thing. Then, okay, here's the thing. If it wasn't a thing, how did he discover it? If it's not a thing, how did he discover it?
Even though that Apple thing was actually bullshit, apparently, but, like, how would that have been a thing if gravity wasn't around? You know what I mean? Like, exactly what you just said. What you just said would disprove a lot of those people being like, ooh, you invented it. Like, no. So, yeah, I get what you're saying. They fuck around.
Like, well, it's all these people that fucking think they know something, bro. Like, science does not explain everything. Science physically can't. The whole scientific method is exactly why science can't explain everything. So you have to create a problem in order to find a solution for it. And there are just some problems, there are just some things that cannot be explained. I mean,
that you can't recreate.
That you can't exactly
recreate the Big Bang, because that would literally destroy all humanity.
Well, here's the thing, though, right? You know, the Big Bang Theory
humanity.
is the dumbest thing I've ever fucking heard. It's literally the dumbest thing. Bang! The world exists. Like, okay.
Yeah, no.
Bang! Your mom exists. Like, it's the stupidest fucking thing. Like,
no,
bro.
I do believe that, yeah, the stars and all that are expanding. I don't believe I don't think there was also a point where it was just a single point. No, I believe that our rock was just sitting there floating in an empty void. At some point, it was just floating around. It found a star, got pulled to it.
But let me ask you this. All right, let me ask you this. Here's why that's the problem, right? Fucking there. That's the fucking problem. If the Big Bang Theory didn't fucking happen, right? If it's not bang, the world exists. Some rock is floating. Why does the rock exist? Why is it floating? Why is there the universe is already fucking created in order for it to happen? That's the problem.
We can't explain. We can't go back.
Exactly. Science cannot prove that.
We have a point where time starts that we believe where time started.
Yeah, but the thing is, those flying stars, those like planets and shit, they already have to exist in order for that theory to be valid.
I think part of the reason why we talk about that too is because isn't there a thing that we do with science where we sit there and we look at stars? Like when we find stars, we determine how long the light takes to reach us to determine its age, because we based on light years.
Yeah.
Which was an invention of humans, which, you know, obviously human inventions aren't always the best. Most of the time, at some point in time,
it's not that here's the crazy thing, right? Human invention. Here's something insane. Right? The human brain has the capability of learning things at an accelerated rate, and because of a little something called trial and error, a little something called experience, a little something called common sense, and another thing called education. And when people want to seriously discover shit and think about shit, they can use their mind to its fullest capabilities. I mean, you know, think about how we got to where we're. Think about it. We know that the extraterrestrials aren't just other humans on other planets that have thrived like us.
Or just people from like more advanced timelines. Like multiple dimensions is another thing that people talk about too. Have you like ever gone into that depth about like?
No, because dimensions doesn't really make sense to me, because something other than the base universe. So here's the thing.
Our 3D world, which is what we have, 3D world.
Yeah, so you're telling me that somewhere out there's a 2D and one and a one-dimensional
Well, we already have
world.
the 2D universe. We created the 2D universe.
Well, no, we created the way it works.
Well, yeah, we created a way it worked. Yeah,
so the thing is, a three-dimensional versus what we live in now.
It's not that we created it. It's that we created our own way to see the 2D world. Right?
Yeah, but you know there aren't 2D little characters running
world, which is even crazier to think about. One dimension.
Yeah, no, but the thing,
down, left and right.
But the thing is, it's not its own dimension. You can't travel there. It's not a place you could physically travel or do anything to. It's not a physical place where anything can exist.
But see, that's the thing, is that like that's the thing that people think, like when you think like out in the universe, right? They think like if you go far enough, you might actually go to like, you might find these things like wormholes, and it'll take you through these wormholes, and it'll spit you out in a different dimension of universe, and then from there you're in what is potentially a new dimension. And that new dimension could have an Earth just like ours, but like either thousands of years in the future or thousands of years in the past, in terms of development.
Yeah, but we gotta look at.
We could go to an Earth. We could go through like wormholes, find an Earth that has the same exact. It's in the same exact time frame as ours, but just not as developed. Like there's still dinosaurs and there's still this, that, and the other.
Well, that's the thing, though. That's the problem right there. The thing is, with that other shit, we have to look at other planets, right? So here's the thing: we as humans, we have standards, we have codes. Things
so
are
what's considered life and what's considered not life.
Well, not just that, but what's considered a livable planet. Like, what are the necessities to have life on a planet? You know, like signs of life, like a bed, food,
Have we found a
trash.
few water plants that are like really good candidates for this too? I think another one like XB something.
Yeah,
something.
but the thing is,
We have to develop
that's
this
all we
atmosphere.
know. We're basing that off of ourselves. That's the thing. That's the point. See, we're basing off all these planets like Mars. We're basing it off of, is it livable for us? Here's the thing, bro. There's probably some creature out there that doesn't have the same requirements for life that we have. We want to know.
That's the deal. Is
So
that
the
there's
thing-
a creature like on Mars per se, right? Breathes in whatever salt, like whatever.
They breathe in
type of
carbon
oxygen.
monoxide. They don't breathe in oxygen. They breathe in the opposite. So, like, imagine that. Or imagine they don't. Imagine they sexually
They're immune
reproduce.
to the suction of space, and we have to sit here in these like glass cases while they're outside of these glass cases banging on our glass.
Well, I don't know about that, man.
If they're hostile, because you never know, because we don't know these intelligence. For all we know, they could be like sub-human species, like a dog almost, in the way they act and behave. To where like they're like beasts, or they could be like us, where they can talk and communicate, or they could be more advanced, where they can talk to us through like our minds, through our fucking, just by looking at us, or they could even communicate with us from like.
I'm reloading.
So here are the three things, I guess, for the extraterrestrials we'd have to look for. How did they end up on Earth? All right. So here's the thing: if we captured one, we have to discuss how they got here. Because the thing is,
Space travel is fucking difficult. As
Yeah.
we've already discovered as a human race. I mean, shit, how many rockets have we had with humans in it? Up in space? Not too many.
funny
And
enough, we mentioned space. You know,
also,
somewhere
it
out
takes
there in
us a long time
space,
to get anywhere
there's
in
a
space. How long
manhole
did it take
cover
us to
just
get to the
floating
moon?
around in space.
How long did it take us to get to the moon? Like what, a few like weeks or some shit, right? Or a few days? It's between days and weeks, I remember it being. For them up in space to get from Earth, once they got out of the atmosphere and shit, to float and use their boosters and shit to get into the moon, it took them like a good bit. We're talking about a species that has the potential to go from their planet all the way to our planet, and it not obviously take them a long time, because that would take generations long people. That or they live longer than us. There have to be like different factors here, where like they live generously
Yeah,
longer than us.
they
'cause
probably
they're able to
reproduce their
travel.
cell. They probably reproduce blood cells, skin
Differently than
cells differently. Yeah, exactly. They probably breathe
Like-
differently. Everything about them is different. They're not.
Like cancer for us wouldn't be like for them. Cancer for us is like their normal way of
They
being.
might be immune to cancer.
Over
They might be
regeneration of
immune to
cells for us is like how
tuberculosis. They
they
might
live.
be immune to different diseases that we have to face. But
So that's
however,
see,
something like
and that's another
AIDS
concern
might
too
be a
when you
thing
think
in
about
space.
being visited. Like, if we were visited by a space creature, don't you think we would have had like a crazy outbreak of some like viral alien disease that's immune to all of our shit
Changing mag.
entirely?
Well, the thing is, the thing is, here's the crazy thing. Well, I'm gonna get off the alien topic because it could go on, it goes on for too long. There's too many
it's going to be a fucking Joe Rogan episode.
Well, no, it's not that. It's just that aliens probably don't really exist.
Monkeys.
But the thing is, like I said, aliens probably don't exist. And I'm going to say this for one reason. Because in order
They
for
would have
something
already
to
been here.
travel through time and space, you got to consider that the galaxy is almost infinitely in size, bro. In space. So let me ask you
Well, not
something.
our single galaxy. You're talking about the like the universe. Our galaxy has a limit. We have a limit for the galaxy already, and we also have a limit for other galaxies outside of ours.
Yeah, but how do we know that if we haven't been there? To map it out.
Well, we have an
physically.
approximate. We base it on what we.
Yeah, we
our
approximated on numbers in our heads.
That's
Like,
what
we
it
don't,
is. That's all math is these days. Is approximations. Nothing's exact in math. Math is our
Exactly.
own
So
made-up thing.
the thing is, space can go on for as long as it wants. It's infinite. You understand that?
That's the whole
Think
point. of
about
space,
it. Really
that
think
is
about it.
infinite.
It's literally infinite. So let me ask you something.
The observable universe. Outside that is
The
called the unknown.
The observable universe is our like solar system, and then everything beyond that, which it goes way
No, it's
beyond
not our
that.
solar system.
That's not our observable universe. Our observable universe, dude, I'm talking, this is like multiple galaxies I'm talking that we can see, that we've seen, that we've observed. I'm talking about all the years of science that we spent observing different stars from way beyond our own little fucking sun and little, you know, beyond Pluto, beyond all that shit. We're talking light years upon light years. Like, that's the only way I can say is light years, because that's our measurement for it. We're talking light years right now, bro. We're talking like trillions of light years we've already measured out. But there's more. We know there's more because we can see glimmers of more. But we just don't know how far that is, so we can't give it a number yet. So that's why it's still unknown. Because we can see it, but we can't measure it. We don't have a number.
Yeah, but the thing is, though, science has its limitations.
We're still making numbers up as we go.
Yeah, I know, but like nothing is exact because, like I said, space is infinite. And that's my theory.
That too, and they're trying to improve on that. And that's another reason why we haven't gone beyond in a long time, because we're sitting here trying to still improve on what we've already made up in math. We're trying to improve the math already that we have. You know how many people are trying to redefine certain equations? Like Einstein's equation, trying to redefine that shit all the time. But no one's done it.
But anyway, here's my point. Alright, here's why I get into this. If I were to control the future of America, I would not have electric cars be the big thing. I'd have them exist. But at the same time...
Fucking, what was the word I'm looking for? That was a great, switch up.
But no, it relates to what we're about to say. Let me finish. So, people are talking about the environment, right? Why not send trash to space? Is there such a thing as polluting space? Because think about it, there is no oxygen in space to be polluted. There is no gravity.
Because here's why. Here's why we can't send trash to space, because we have satellites already in space, and those satellites will crash into those. And over time, depending on how we dump the trash, it's going to be pulled back in by our Earth's gravitational pull. We have to send it out far up into space.
Yeah, I know, that's what I'm saying. Why don't we build a moon base where it has a launch station?
We just have to send rockets off into nowhere and hope that it doesn't, in the near future, come back at us. We don't know. Yeah,
because you know that there's actually a fucking manhole cover they got launched into space. There's a manhole cover floating out in space somewhere. There's a car?
Tesla. Elon put a Tesla in space, and it's now floating in space forever. That's a red Tesla.
Hey, so, talking about garbage, so I remember...
It also has a mannequin in it.
Okay, so, this whole garbage thing, that makes me think of, like, episode of Futurama I watched. I know it's
Garbage Island. Or the Garbage Planet.
But, imagine that, though, man. Imagine they created a rocket system that self-detonated and destroyed itself into ash, and those ashes float around in space. They don't take up any space at all.
No, I would just say, if anything, just send the rocket off into nothing. But the reason I'm thinking about
I know, send it off into nothing, have it disintegrate itself.
Well, yeah, but I'm just
destroying everything.
It doesn't have to destroy itself. It could just fly off forever. It can contain the garbage. It could be a rocket filled with as much garbage as it can.
Well, here's why. So, see, I'm 5 steps ahead of you. See, I don't like the idea that extraterrestrials might exist. Like I said, I don't believe they do, but in the situation that they might.
Well, that would be worse if we just started dumping it into the atmosphere and shit, and have all the ashes sitting there in the atmosphere, because that could potentially fuck them up, and then they're trying to think of what all this new stuff is in space. Fucking up their
just ashes, dude. Just ashes. So tiny, so insignificant. But if we leave behind like large things of dumpsters and shit like that, large piles of trash that are about the size of a landfill in space, that's going to leave behind a trace, and they're going to find what planet's doing it, and then that might create a civil conflict. Imagine that being the future of America. Imagine that being the future of the world. They have highways that go through the ocean.
But like, it's like, you know, my thought on that is that if we, you said already, like, you know, if aliens did exist, this, that, and the other, like this, but like, here's the big thing about that too, is that if they did exist, why haven't we had like a big intergalactic meeting with them yet? Because clearly are we not intelligent enough or some shit? Like, do they not see us as intelligent enough beings to come down and like talk to us and try to learn something? Not learn something, just observe us more, or even capture us to like view us as like, you know, mice in a cage. Like, I feel like we'd find out about something like that, given all the satellites and shit we have in space. We would know if someone was holding us captive, and clearly we don't see that. And we can send rockets out of our atmosphere because, and way beyond that, because if we couldn't, because aliens, there'd be like a barrier, visible barrier or some shit that we hit, and that would destroy us. But we're not. So, it's like, you know what I mean? Like, we haven't been invaded, we haven't been, not invaded, but even like visited.
Well,
by, like,
go
a whole
back to,
colony.
what was it, World War II. Have you ever heard of the,
The battle over Los Angeles?
yep.
Yeah, I know about that. I was thinking about that, but I was like, but for all we know, that could have been the Nazis putting balloons over that they just didn't mark because they didn't want them marked, and the fucking planes are shooting those down.
So, yeah, so this whole like alien thing. So this is a story this is a thing my dad was telling me. So this happened to my grandpa, and this happened when my grandpa was younger, and when he was growing up, he lived out in the mountains, out in the woods, in the mountains, like in a cabin.
Everything happens out in the mountains and the woods.
Yeah, and he had seen a glowing orb in the forest above the trees. There were no real big lights out there. I mean, they didn't know what the fuck it was. May have been a fucking extraterrestrial.
It might have realistically been a giant flare.
Man.
A solar flare?
Yeah.
But see, if your dad... Oh, wait, what did you say? His grandpa was using a telescope?
No, they weren't using a telescope. They were outside.
And they just saw like a giant flash. I don't know if that'd be a solar flare, but because if you could physically see a solar flare, that means that shit's too close to you. It's gonna hurt you. It's gonna kill you.
No, it wasn't a flare. Like they saw a glowing orb.
Yeah, no, I'm saying it's
flare.
probably a flare or a solar flare. I don't really believe, like, that's the thing, dude. There's logical explanations.
Okay, so that could be a number of things though too. That can't just be a solar flare. That could also be a nova.
Yeah, that.
Or they have two. Scientists, I guess, recently observed not too long ago a different kind of nova. It's not a supernova. It's called something else. I forget what the name of it, but it has nova in it too. And it's whenever two suns collide and explode, like two dying suns collide and explode, it creates a supernova that's like 20 times or some shit like that more powerful than a regular supernova. So it could have been that too, that he was observing. Like, he could have been the first to actually see one, or one of the first to actually see one with the naked eye. Because a flash like that, like a glowing orb like that big, or something that he could physically see like that, that has to be something, you know. How big is the orb he described?
I don't know. He
never said like a size for it?
Probably not. It's probably some made up bullshit, probably.
See, because that kind of brings the story down a little bit, because if he can't say like, oh, that
yeah,
about
like,
the size of, like,
that's the thing though, man. Like, when you get to talking about
the sky and it looked about the size, like if he held up like a coin in his hand and it fit that coin, like a dollar-sized coin in the sky, that's a big fucking dot in the sky. That's about the size of what our moon would be with a coin held up to, in front of our face.
No, yeah, but here's what I feel like. The more you talk about it, like, people out in the woods, weird shit does happen, but no explanation for it happening. Like, okay, here's a real example of something that has been well documented. I'll say this: research a place called Skinwalker Ranch. Okay, and Mr. Ballin has a video about it. I like Mr. Bullen. I like his channel. I see all the strange paranormal stuff. I'm aware that some stuff exists. Like, okay, I could believe that, like, you know, here's the thing, bro. Like, Native Americans are very superstitious people, but
they have a reason to be superstitious.
But the thing is, though, man, the thing is, though, it's not. I don't think it's the mushrooms and the peace pipe they're smoking. I don't think that's causing it.
No, they're not.
Because here's the thing: some Native American tribes, have been like shredded, murdered, destroyed, decimated, and they're like some of the most secluded tribes. There's not another tribe anywhere near there. You know what I mean? And there's some weird, unexplainable shit with Native American, you know, culture and stuff. If you look into like skinwalkers or the they call them Wendigos and shit like that. You know, some of the weird Native American shit. Yeah, I'm just saying, like they have different names, but they're the same thing.
Yeah,
you know, and
they
the
also
crazy
say
thing
you're not
is,
supposed to say its name actually.
Yeah, they say you're not supposed to say its name, but it's like the first 2 rules of Fight Club. Don't talk about Fight Club.
Well, it's because, the reason they say that is because if you say its name, you conjure it. You conjure it, like, it's like you call for it. It's like calling for a dog. It's like...
Yeah, but I live in Ohio.
If you're saying its name, which apparently they're supposed to have, according to what I've read on them, they're supposed to have, like, pretty good fucking hearing, like, hearing that of, like, a fucking... One of those fucking creatures. I forget what they're called. They have, like... fucking pinpoint hearing, though. They're like, are they in the dog family? No.
Yeah, but either way, right? When you look at some of the shit that goes on in those kind of situations, it's horrifying, dude. Because there's really no logical explanation or no documentation. But the fact that they're able to detail an account of the very details of these things,
like even stories of Chupacabra seem too detailed to be like fake, honestly.
Yeah,
like,
no, and I can imagine that
there's
there's
the abundance
like rare
of stories about chupacabras too. Like the abundance of stories you hear about a goat being sucked dry of all of its blood. No fucking creature, not even a leech, not even a group of leeches, like not even like 50 leeches can suck you dry of blood completely. There is no creature on this earth that alone, or really in a group of a significant group, like say 50 at the very most, would be able to suck the blood out of you. Not even bats. So, and there's not multiple marks on these animals. They always report one singular bite area where the blood was sucked from, where all the veins were tapped. Which I assume what they're not tapping into is the vein, but the actual heart itself, and sucking it all through the heart.
So remember back in like 2013, everyone was on that Slender craze. Remember Slender Man, bro?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I don't believe in that. But here, and
yeah, no. Yeah, because I mean it's clearly
way
fake.
Too fucking, that for one, that was made up on the internet.
Yeah,
two,
that was part of an internet contest.
Yeah, and 2, it's like all the content you see that people be like, oh, real Slender Man. It's so fucking badly CGI'd. It's insane. No one can ever get good CGI, especially at that time, because CGI was still getting better. Even today, you can't really make a good convincing CGI.
Yeah, but you can't just record. You can't record a video on like a low quality cam and then try to add low quality CGI to it and call it the real thing. No, but the other crazy thing is, right? A lot of cultures do believe in tall people that live in the woods. Not just like not like Slender Men, right? It's not the same kind of deal. It's actually something far fucking scarier. Some people actually believe there was like 20-foot tall creatures in ancient cultures. Like I'm talking like
giants,
like Goliath, bro. Fucking yeah,
like a giant.
Yeah, like especially I think a lot of that. No, they're not. They're not. No, they're proportionate.
So they're straight up giants then.
Yeah, basically. But the idea that they live in the woods and they build their houses out of trees, I think a lot of that shit comes from like Greece, around those like southern European, like towards Spain, Greece. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Like where Italy sits today. around that area, right? Where people believed that giants existed and like sea serpents. Oh, sea serpents, dude, that's the other crazy thing, bro. Have you guys actually looked into that?
Sea serpents, like
Yep.
the giant.
Like, okay,
what?
anaconda,
Like
like yes.
Like
However, like Nessie, yeah, but they're a bit more.
Which Nessie, honestly, if she was a real creature or is a real creature, based
It's
on
dead.
how they describe her, based on the pictures, she would be a Pleurodon.
Yeah, or some
Pleurodon.
sort of prehistoric dinosaur variant.
That's what she was. That's
So-
what she would be. The way they describe her is like this giant thing with big old fins, a really long neck, shit like that. That's what a it's not a Pleurodon, but it has a similar dawn in it, and it was another fish creature. Pleurodons are different. You ever seen Charlie the Unicorn?
Yes, I've seen Charlie the
That's a
fucking
Pleurodon.
unicorn.
Pleurodon is not what I'm thinking of, obviously, because the Pleurodon didn't look like that. And
Pleurodon. Oh, bro, I hated that fucking. That's old YouTube, bro. Like kids today don't know Charlie the unicorn. Charlie the unicorn was kind of fucking. It scared me as a kid.
Charlie,
Charlie.
go to Candy Mountain, Charlie.
Candy Mountain.
Candy Mountain,
Yeah.
Charlie.
Yeah.
Charlie. Charlie.
And then he'd just be like, "What do you guys
shut
want?"
up.
Yeah. Oh, would you-
Go to your stupid Pleurodon.
oh man,
I think
dude,
the guy that played him is like, he kind of sounds similar to the guy that played as Joe Swanson, but I know it wasn't him.
yeah, he had
But it
that.
sounded very similar. He had that kind of talk to him, but with a little more grunt.
No, it wasn't. It wasn't the same accent though. Like it was.
No,
Like it sounded
No,
like the
Joe has
same
that-
like
still has
deep.
that Boston accent kind of shit. Or Irish
I don't
shit.
know, man. Fucking. Either way, dude. But like, if you actually look up like pictures of like sea serpents and stuff like that, and you're like, wow, that looks like it would never exist. But the thing is, see a
Those
lot
shit's
of
unexplored.
not only that, but a lot of like, there's a lot of stories about people encountering sea serpents in the Black Sea and stuff like that. But also, oh, you know the other thing, bro? Something really mysterious that scientists have discovered. When Moses split the sea, right?
In that story.
they walked across the thing. They have found Egyptian chariots under the water, and Egyptian jewelry and weaponry. So take that with what you will.
So
But that's like science.
Here's how you can
that's
view that too, though. Here's how you can view that too. Is that could have been a shipwreck.
no, these are chariots, dude. If it was a shipwreck, there would have been a.
You don't think that they can? You don't think that by that time they had chariots, like boats able to carry the chariots?
No. What I'm saying is there would be boat wreckage.
How would they get
There
their
would be
chariots
boat.
across land
There
to
would
go
be.
invade
There,
other
there
lands
would
with
be
chariots?
boat wreckage.
Well, it depends on what they're making the boats out of. Wood would be fucking basically gone at this point. All
Yeah,
these
but
years
the
later, that
chariots
shit would be
are made
gone.
out of wood
Beyond
and metal, and
petrified.
some of the stuff's still there.
The
I
metal
mean-
probably. Because metal does take quite a while to deteriorate, even in water. I've noticed.
Dude, the ocean is scary, bro.
It is.
Like,
It's
really, like,
it's a
deep
beast
down?
of its own kind. You can't. A human cannot go a certain depth without their body just. Like, if you just plopped us, like, say, 200-ish feet down, our bodies would immediately be crushed.
Yeah, due to ocean pressure. But let me ask you guys
Yeah.
something. Do you
Not
guys?
200, it'd be like 300.
What do you guys think about the Legend of Atlantis?
I still believe it, but I believe they're looking in the wrong spots. They've been looking in all the wrong places.
Yeah. There's a
They keep-
ring.
they keep-
like there's a specific ring.
And I don't think it was as big as they say it was. Because we're talking about an ancient city. This had to be a, like ancient cities, a lot of them are pretty small. Like, the biggest one was Rome. And that was, not really a city, more so a fucking country. And so, you know what I mean? Like,
Yeah,
and they
but you
have
gotta
the
also
capital.
consider
The capital was
like the.
huge,
Yeah, but you gotta
but that was the
also. I
biggest
agree.
thing in
I
history.
agree. I think that Atlantis would have to be small because if you're putting it on the ocean, your building limitations are extreme.
Uh-huh. That, not only that, but it wouldn't be like how they're describing it. I don't think it would be these stone structures. I think it'd be like these, you know, like how modern day we have these, like in jungles and shit on tropical islands, you have those villagers that have their houses on like these stilts.
Yeah.
Invite
So
me.
you. So
I
you
think they would be built on stilts.
similar to how they have docks set up.
Mm-hmm. So that the water wasn't directly beneath them. They didn't have their houses right there in the water. Like, they were building out in the water, yeah, but they weren't sitting there with like these fucking, this whole like city built on the water, because no, you can't do that. The water would have flooded the city multiple times. Would have flooded it ages ago, the second it was built, while it was being built. So what I think it was that it was a little tiny like village almost on stilts that got hit with a tsunami, and that destroyed and sunk it all. It didn't even sink it all. What it did was it destroyed it, and then it dragged all that debris back out into the ocean deeper. Because that's how a wave works. It takes all the shit and it drags it back out. So it's not gonna, nothing's gonna be. If this wave is as strong, and these are like, you know, like I said, it's on still, but not that fucking strong. So much shit you had to do to be able to tell a story like that and get that shit spread back then compared to today. If today something like that happened, like to a village, yeah, we'd hear about it right away through like thousands of news sources and fucking satellite imagery. Because we have all that shit now. But back in those days when Atlantis was supposed to be around, dude, we didn't have that. We didn't have any way to fucking document, really, like, writing was still being technically invented at that point. Like, was still being advanced on. Like, writing was still a fucking brand new goddamn thing, dude. For us humans. In those times. Not in the case of, like, we didn't know how pen and shit worked, but we didn't have pens or shit. We had ink and fucking feathers, and we had fucking... Before that, we had carvings.
Yeah, some people claim there's a ring. Okay, so there's like this weird ring found in the Sahara
I've
Desert.
seen that video on the ring. And
Yeah,
that's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying, I'm looking in the wrong spot, because that doesn't sound to me like what it would be. Those rings, it might have been a different thing, sure, but not that. That sounds to me like the way that the rings are and the way that they look kind of looks like how medieval, like, England would design something. That was something that the English built as settlement there, and it got washed away. So that's what it looked like. Because that's the way that England kind of designed their castles, to be like these big, giant, round monoliths stacked around each other. A lot of Europeans designed their castle like that. So it couldn't even be the British, it could have been the French for all we know that built something there. Where was this at? I forget.
I can't remember. I don't remember how the legend went. I thought it was like near Spain, but then again, I could be mistaken.
They also had castles back then. Actually, you know what's funny? They had a lot of towers. They like to build towers in Spain a lot. Vast towers. That was their big thing, was like... Because on the hunt, if you go on the Hunt to Call of the Wild, funny enough, there's this map set in Spain called Cuatro Colinas. And when you go there, most of the lookouts that you'll find are going to be in these towers, like castle towers. And there's a castle there. So, and it looks very similar to like how most English castles are. So when we think about castles, you think about England, because England's still has a lot of castles. That are like well known. Along with Germany, I guess, they have a few castles in Austria. And of course, what's that place? Transylvania with Vlad's castle. That fucking guy. The guy that invented Dracula.
Yep.
His name was Dracula.
To the round.
I thought that
That's his nickname. That was his
Vlad the
nickname, Dracula.
Impaler.
Vlad the Impaler, yeah, that Vlad is the nickname, but Count Vlad, I think Dracula was his full name.
It sounds grotesque,
And
but the way they describe his
so
castle.
here's the thing, right? His name is supposed to be son of the devil, because his father, Vlad, was supposed to be devil. I forget his full name, but his full name is supposed to mean in that language, son of the devil. So he's the son of the devil, and his dad's supposed to be the devil.
Yeah, but the weird thing is, dude, the way they describe his castle is like on the outskirts of it, dude, or like
All the people impaled
yeah, there's like these large like sticks that
that are
people
stuck on people's penises.
Dude,
and
I
they
would
slowly slide
love-
down it till it's the top of the mountain.
It sounds
Or their
horribly
head,
it sounds
or their
horribly yeah, I know, but let me talk. It sounds horrible. It sounds horribly grotesque. But I want a painting of that shit.
I think I've seen. You could probably look it up and find some. Not me, but you could probably find some like. You could probably do a custom mortar on distro plate.
Yeah, like I want it to be like a Bob Ross
I think that's the
painting.
name of the. I think that's the name of the place. Those custom-made metal signs that you can hang up on your wall really easily.
Yeah, I'm not talking about that. I mean like an actual painting, like on a canvas.
Well, no, I'm saying that you can get it. Oh, on canvas? Okay. Like, how you talking like a huge canvas? You're talking like a mosaic, giant fucking like 20-foot canvas of it? Or you're talking
Yeah.
like a? Are you talking like a little hangable? I don't know, 5 foot by 5 foot.
5 foot's pretty big.
Yeah, true. I'd say more 3 by 3 then.
I'm thinking like a 5 by 3 wide. So it'd be
Like 5
or-
tall.
No, 5
3
wide.
wide.
5 wide. 3 tall.
That's kind of a weird aspect to me.
Well, think about 12 inches. Now think about 2 inches. Now think about 3 of those. So it's up.
I know, I get that. I'm saying like I'm looking at the fucking like I'm trying to like measure it out like so it'd be 5. No, 5 wide and then 3. So it'd be kind of like a wide screen, like you know like those movies where they have like the bars really fucking like giant bars on the top and bottom of the screen. So it just cuts off so much you just got like a real tiny viewing window.
Yeah, I don't know why I have an obsession with paintings of castles and large mansions. I have a weird
You know what that reminds me
obsession with
of? That kind of style, like that shape you described, kind of like the Last Supper. The way the Last Supper
it. Yeah,
mostly-
something about that size.
like that shape.
Yep.
No, I was thinking more like the opposite, where it would be 5 tall and 3 wide, so it'd be taller than wider.
Yeah,
But
dude,
that would make more
I,
sense to have it set up like that, because that's more like a scenery, so you want that scenery type aspect. So that makes more sense like the way you have it. But I'd make it a little taller than that. I'd make it like 4 by 5, so it has like a little more size for you to get really good size characters on there. So 3, that's a little bit small for characters. And for like painting something, like especially if you're painting a bunch of different bodies along like going towards like a castle or some shit, I can see it like this, like you have Vlad at the very front with his foot on a hill, and behind him, like he's standing kind of like Captain Morgan, like in a Captain Morgan type pose, and then behind him is just a fucking wall of people impaled. And then on the other side of it, there's also another wall of people impaled, kind of like a pathway that leads up to a castle. That's his castle.
Yeah, but I would do something crazier with it. I would have it be to where the sky is like a tint of red.
Oh, I know. I'm not saying that it has to be a normal looking scenery. It has to be grotesque because this is grotesque.
Yeah.
Fuck you.
I don't know
wouldn't just
why,
have it
but
red. I'd have it like a red mixed with a little bit of orange to give.
I
some
mean like
hope.
like one of them like scorching sunsets. You know what I mean? It's a
Oh,
tint
I love
of it's like a
fucking
tint of
sunsets.
reddish. It's a tint of reddish orange. It's not entirely red.
Not red or not, but see, those scorched sun, a lot of the time I've seen them, they have like purple in them. You don't want any purple. You just want it to be a split between the orange and the red.
Yeah, just orange and red, not no purple.
But you don't want the red to be light. You want that red to go crimson.
No, but I do want traces of yellow in it toward the bottom, to where it signifies the sun.
Yeah, like before, right before it splits to the orange, and right between the orange and red, have like a yellow like bit to represent the sun in the middle, and then that's like, you know, it going down, and then fucking red blood on the top, or blood on the bottom. You can do blood on the bottom and darkness on the top too.
Yeah,
That
this
makes more
is
sense,
actually,
'cause
dude, I
darkness
actually
goes from the
found.
top, and it goes into
So
the.
I actually found a painting. Now it doesn't have the bodies on it. Like it doesn't have like the large sticks. I feel like there's something so off about that, right? Like the whole stuff. Like you'd have to imagine seeing it, right? There's a castle, then there's a bunch of like large stilt-like sticks, spikes with people on them, body parts. That's gotta be.
These poles are like what, not 7, between 7 I think and like 20 feet tall. Some of them.
I know, but like, can you picture what that might look like? It's so different because it's so savage and brutal. But I actually found a pretty creepy picture. It looks like they even put bats. So it looks like, it looks like up in the upper corners is like a very dark, or like, I want to say a light purple, but it's like I don't know how to describe the color.
Like a space, like galactic purple. Because that's like a dark purple.
It's almost like a transparent purple. Like you can see through it, but it's like a dark tint of a see-through like purple.
I know what you're talking about. I get it.
But it's overcasted by like a grayish black.
Would you describe it like the purple on a talkie bag, but slightly darker?
I don't know. I want to send you this picture, so you can look at it for yourself. But dude, it looks creepy as shit. I love it, man. Yeah, I admire art. That's my thing. Like I love
Oh, you admire art,
statues.
dude. I have some art. I've made some AI art. I fucking should.
And I'm not talking about no fucking anime shit either. I'm talking about real art that was painted. You know what I mean?
No, and this wasn't real art that's painted. This is AI, like generated stuff. But I have it in a style of like, I'll tell you the story behind these. I'll just send them.
Ooh, I like this. This is totally different. So this is like a yellowish kind of sky, like a yellowish lime green kind of sky in the woods, and in the distance you can see like a tower. That's awesome. I don't know why I have a strange fascination with that kind of landscape. That kind of imagery. I don't know why.
Okay, so like this one. I'll send this one first. This one has a crazy story to it. So this one, so it was made by this app called Wonder, I think it's called, or something like that. And it does AI art. So you put a prompt in, and I normally do no style just to see what it does without any style direction, because normally you'd be like, oh, I want it in like a futuristic style, or I want it in like this. No, I put no prompt, nothing like that. I just want it, whatever word I put, you think of something. You think of a background, you think of everything. And so with this one, I put despair. That's the only thing I put. That's the only word I put was the word despair, and that's what it gave me. I think I sent it to you. Yeah. I sent it to you on Instagram.
Yeah, my phone was charging. I just now grabbed it.
It's all good. So I typed in despair, and it just spat that out at me. And then I have a few others there.
all the different like emotions.
Loading.
That's like that weird, abstract shit. I'm into more like when I say art, I'll re-specify. I'm into classical art.
Like Renaissance era.
I like pictures of castles and of large mansions or of mountains.
Okay, so I want to go back on to the subject of spirituality. So, kind of ish. What are your thoughts on the Ouija board?
I don't personally fuck with them. It's something I don't want to. I just don't want to do. I don't want to take.
So how comfortable would you with me be telling a story about one that I've personally experienced?
Well, personally, I don't care if someone else does anything with it. As long as it's
well, no, I'm
not
saying
like,
are you comfortable with me talking about this? Because this is gonna be.
Yeah, go for it. Go for it, man. I don't really care.
How well depth are you in the lore of the Ouija board?
I know there's like certain rules, like always say goodbye before you do.
Okay,
never do it
besides
alone.
the rules, like I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about like how do you know about the certain demons that are particular to the board?
like apparently like Zozo's like the most powerful.
Okay, good. So you know about
yeah,
Zozo. That's all you need to know
I'm familiar with it. Yeah.
Okay, so back in 2017-ish, me and my mom playing with this Ouija board. And we just so happened to get into contact with Zozo. Okay? So here's the thing, right? So contacts with Zozo are about all the same for most people. At least the ones that don't fuck it up. Where it'll start just moving back and forth, left and right, as normal. Kinda. And then it'll start like going into a figure eight, and then once you ask who this is, like it'll just start doing that. And if you ask who this is, he'll stop, go back to going back and forth, but this time he'll go to a letter. He'll go to Z, O.
Z and no.
O. And he'll go back and forth on that. And then once he's done doing that for a little bit, he'll do it like 3 times, and he'll go back to going into a figure eight. He'll do a figure eight on the board, and he'll keep doing it. It's like an infinity symbol. And he'll just keep doing that, and he does that while he's waiting for you to ask him questions. So we asked him a few questions, like, are you really Zozo? Right? We just didn't believe it. I didn't believe it at first, so I asked him, are you really Zozo? I don't believe this. And he stopped, and I felt it like really hard drag. That wasn't coming from me or my mom. Me and my mom were together, so it would have been needing a push. I felt a drag pull us towards the yes. And mind you, when you're playing with these on the planchettes, that's what the object that you touch is called, you need to be very light with it. You don't put any pressure on it. Barely any. Like, you're almost not even touching it, really. It's just enough to where you feel it on your finger, so you know you're in contact with it, but not enough to be able to manipulate it. It takes more pressure than
just
that.
a bare tip of your fingertip where the skin makes contact with the. That's all. You're just making contact with it. You're not. Like,
yeah, you're just making
you're not
enough
applying
contact
pressure.
with it to visibly be able to, like, not visibly, but
yeah, you're not applying pressure.
Physically tell that you're touching it. Barely any pressure. Like, you never.
Yeah,
put
when
any
you touch your
pressure on the
iPhone, like when you just like touch it and don't apply any pressure, don't like press down, just to touch it. That's how you know. I don't know. I'd have to explain it better. Just enough to make contact. That's it, man.
Yeah, it's just enough where your skin feels the contact of the planchette underneath the finger.
Wood. Yeah, I know.
Yeah. Well, planchettes are made of mostly plastic, but the good ones back in the day, yeah, they're made out of wood.
Out of wood, and they had a piece of glass. Yeah.
Yeah. This one had a piece of plastic.
So here's the thing.
Clear
I actually know.
And then plastic piece.
There was this goth chick that went to my school, and me and her dated for a little while. And she actually had an old Ouija board where like the letters were made out of burnt wax.
Mm-hmm. I was gonna use one of those.
They were all hiding.
Anyways,
right there.
So after all that, like, I asked a couple questions, and then I ask it, "Are you here to harm us, or are you just here to have fun with us?" And
instantly it spelled out harm, and that was the second we said goodbye. That's whenever so to get out of a Ouija board, you have to initiate it. You put your fingers on the planchette. That's the only time you put pressure on it, is to drag the planchette over goodbye, and you say, "Goodbye, spirit. You cannot enter through this board." Like you have to say it a certain way. I forget how it's exactly said, but the gist of what you're saying is that you're telling them goodbye, and that they cannot come through this board and harm you or possess you. Like they're not allowed to come through the board. They're bound to the board. And you hope that works, but in some cases it doesn't. Especially if someone fucks up at any point during the session. Like say they get their finger off for even a slight second, that could fuck it up. Especially with Zozo, that could really fuck it up.
Yeah, when you like release your finger off of the, it starts with the P. I think that triangular. Once you release your finger off of there, you pretty much give them the ability to cross over from that world.
Yeah, if you haven't said goodbye, if you haven't closed the game. But if you close the game, the portal closes. That's, how it's supposed to work. Is that when you close it, by saying goodbye, you're basically closing that portal up.
Like I said, I have no experience playing it.
The way you open the portal is both people put their fingers on, or how many people put their fingers on. And how you start normally, how I've seen it, like the proper way is that you go backwards from goodbye. First, you run the planchette across that backwards, not forwards, and then you go up, swing it over to the, swerve it over to the middle, and then you do a circle to signify opening the portal. And you have to do it counterclockwise, 3 times, and 3 times clockwise to make it a 6. And that's like traditional openings. That was back in the day when it was made. Now people just do the short version, which is just do 3 circles and it's open. Which also works, it's just more dangerous. This was back in the day when they were still like, because this was made by a dude that was contacting spirits, and he had a ritual for it. He had a specific ritual for opening the portal so that he didn't get fucked up. We took it and shortened it because we didn't want to go through all the trouble of doing all that. We just wanted to get the game going. People were impatient.
Yeah, well, like I said, I've never personally done anything like that. Now, I have seen the movie The Exorcist, and the other thing is...
That leads to my thing here. Sorry, I have to finish my point what I'm saying. The reason I said that is because this art thing, right? So years later, I do the AI art, and I think about it like, I haven't really thought about the Zozo guy in a while. So I type it in just to see what... That's all I typed in was the word Zozo, no prompt, no nothing. And it gave me this.
I wish I could screen share on the stream so they can also see it, but...
Oh no, I'm sending you this on Instagram again, so I don't think they would be able to see it anyways, unless you can pull up your Instagram.
Yeah.
That is what it gave me for that. Which is almost like it gave it a face. And if you always look up the Demon Zozo, like you look up image and you go to images, like some of the few first images that you see are very similar to what that looks like. Not exact, but like...
It looks like a mountain with like, it looks like a cheese mountain on them holes.
Oh, I was talking about like if you like focus more, like it looks like an eye, and then you look left, it looks like, kind of like half a face, and then you look towards the bottom, it's like a mouth with like fucked up looking sharp needle-like teeth. Mind you, this is an AI that's just doing a collaboration of different shapes and colors. But for it to do an actual face, it looks like it has like a little horn growing out of it too. Like if you look at it from the perspective of it's supposed to be a face, like you see the eye and you see what looks like could be a nose and the mouth, and then if you look at it from that perspective, you see how it kind of like connects to the head where it looks like a mountain. That could be like a horn that it's trying to draw. Like, I've heard of some, like, paranormal investigators. I watch a channel personally called Proving Demons, because the way that they do their stuff is not like, like Ghost Adventures. They actually were caught, I think, in a scandal of faking a lot of their content. These guys are way different.
These guys are way different. These guys are... There's no cuts normally in the videos. Especially at the parts where actual stuff happens, there's not a bunch of cuts. It's just straight and then... If they need to replay it because some people, you know, like, need to hear it, they don't replay it like that. What they do is they'll replay the audio that they capture, right? And they'll play it like 15 times so you can clearly hear what they hear. And this is captured on, you know, and they don't cut the tape between them recording and then them playing it. Ghost Adventures, they would cut between them taking an EVP and then them playing the EVP. They play it later on in the episode. These guys get their EVPs done and then they play them right away with no cuts. So you know that it's a fresh recording. There's no way for them to manipulate it. It's not preset with voices that just appear in random parts of the video. It's right there in front of them. They hit stop and play. They hit record, hit stop, and then hit play. That's all. That's what you see. You see
in the early days of like YouTube, paranormal videos were like the shit. There was a series of paranormal videos that were clearly fake, but like me and my friend liked to watch them. We actually, it was about, so basically it would be this like super pale girl in a white dress with long black hair covering her face. Going around this dude's house, bro, and it would just be like a first person point of view in the early days of YouTube. I don't remember what those videos were called, and I haven't been able to find them since.
But yeah, no, so, anyways, the point about that was that, in one of his videos, he talked about how, he used an AI thing, right? And he has an attachment. I also have an attachment, which I believe is either Zozo himself or a demon connected to Zozo, because I don't think he appreciated me closing out the game as soon as I did. And I don't think he gave a shit, because he's too powerful for that shit. Normally you don't want to contact Zozo because he's too powerful for the board. He's one of the few demons that doesn't give a shit.
Hostile UAV in the area.
Like, if you close the game or not. He's kind of like... So? I make these portals, bitch. He's supposed to be like the left hand of Satan or some shit. Not the right hand, the left hand. Which is weird.
Lefty.
The right hand of Satan.
Fucking lefties. God
The right
damn.
hand of Satan, if I remember correctly, is Lucifer. Because it's in demonology. Satan, or Satanus, whatever you want in Latin, is the center. He's God. He's the god of hell. And then you got Lucifer, the right hand of Satan, who's kind of like, if you're thinking like God, it'd be like, if you're thinking that God and Jesus are separate people, it'd be like, you know, Jesus would be God's right hand. Or Michael, the Archangel, would be God's right hand.
So to think,
Isn't that what Jesus is supposed to be? Michael the Archangel?
I don't fucking know, man.
I think that was like one of like, maybe that's just from my past as Jehovah's Witness. Forced, by the way, Jehovah's Witness. I didn't volunteer for that shit.
Jehovah's Witnesses, bro.
Let's just dog on these guys for a bit, because that's fine on YouTube. Everyone dogs on them. These motherfuckers. Because as of being an X1, I get to say I wasn't baptized, so yeah, I can't really say I'm an extra witness, because I was never baptized in religion. I was just forced to study it. And forced to go to meetings. Which is what they call them. They didn't call them services, they didn't call it church, they call it meetings. You know who else calls their services meetings? Cults. And you know what the real witnesses were? Nothing more than a doomsday cult. Much like the Mormons. Now, here's why I say that. Mormons, I don't know if you knew this or not, have this thing called a 7-year supply. What the 7-year supply is, as the name suggests, 7 years worth of supplies, like survival type supplies, for the second coming of Jesus, which if I remember correctly, they believe will happen in Ohio. As predicted by their prophet, John Brown, back in 18 something.
Enemy down. UHQ located. Move to the objective.
You know, 18 something. A mere 200 something years ago. This mother, like, that same time they're
Oh my god. No, dude. Hey,
the Watchtower
that
was even sooner than that. The Watchtower popped up in 1899. That's how Guerrilla Woods started. It was the Watchtower Society. They started that shit in 1899. It was a group of brothers, as they call themselves, who were publishing this stuff called the Watchtower. And over time, it became this thing called Jehovah's Witnesses, branched off from the Watchtower. Not off, but branched from them. And now they're like in unison. It's when you think Watchtower, you think Jehovah's Witness now.
Dude, that teammate, his gamer tag is Naruto. He came up and he kept knifing me and shit.
Hostile UAV in the area.
Yeah, bitch.
Changing max. Next objective located. Move to
That guy's an idiot. I don't know why he killed me.
So what I don't get, we went from talking about divorce.
Women's rights.
We went from divorce to
Men-
aliens,
men's rights
space,
to
the
aliens.
future, to now paranormal bullshit, bro.
Paranormal, and now we're in like a weird spot. I don't know where we even are now.
We're talking about Jehovah's
talk
Witnesses.
Really? No, we're back at religion.
Oh, fuck you! Someone took my kill! That bitch!
So yeah,
Sorry, Santa. I had to kill you.
You know, the other crazy weird thing, or this fucking...
man, this podcast thing, your stream must be fucking hating this.
The other weird thing are tarot cards.
Tarot cards, I hate this fucking. Same with fortune tellers. Except I love the song by the Rolling Stones, Fortune Teller. Cause I went to the fortune teller, had my fortune read. I didn't know what to
Yeah, you know, the whole, like... Man, fuck that Naruto guy. The guy on our team, he fucking... I was on that balcony camping.
He's not
and he
even
comes
on
up
the
and he
same second as us. But yeah, you got a guy fucking knifing you a bunch.
Well, I was up on that, you know, on that one map. That's it, what's the name of the map we're playing on? Dome? So I was up on that, like, catwalk thing, and he saw me, and he thought I was an enemy, and he came up. At that point, as soon as he came up, he should have seen I was a teammate. He destroyed my fucking cover. He kept trying to knife me. If I didn't die the first time you fucking knifed me, if I didn't die the first 5 times you fucking hit the knife button, that means I'm your teammate, you dipshit.
Remember back in Black Ops 2, everybody had that stupid Sharingan fucking emblem? Everybody
So
would...
Black Ops 2, no. For me on Black Ops 2, I don't know what, maybe it was just the fact I said honestly, I'll be real, I said the N-word a lot on Black Ops 2 days. I was young, I was stupid. That shit had me in so many fucking lobbies where the person's emblem, you know, because it was custom back in the day, was KKK, Ku Klux Klan members, or I also got a lot of chicks that were like not chicks, but you know, like the emblem would be like a naked chick, like the tits out. That's the only 2 emblems I ever saw in that game. And then I had a really cool emblem that I made that looked pretty sick. That wasn't anything too extravagant, but nothing too weird either. It wasn't some racist shit either. It was just, I think mine was normally like I'd have like a dude's position, like Stickman style, with like a really cool looking red background. And I have a sniper scope over them on their head to represent like a headshot, because that was a sniper back then. Mind you, this is also around the time that I, quote unquote, was recruited into FaZe Clan.
Oh yeah, that bullshit.
Did I tell you that? The fucking story about how I fucking had buddies who fucking like, oh, I'm in FaZe. long story short, he saved and phase. He fucking told me he could recruit me. Played a few rounds, 3 matches against him. He was like, "Oh yeah, you beat me all 3 matches, so or 2 out of 3. I won 2 out of the 3." He's like, "Well, I guess it's good enough because you're my buddy. I'll let you join." And for some reason, I just found out at the time because of my
that
age
little
and
fucker,
my
no, little fucker in the
retardedness,
ghillie
I should
suit.
say.
Okay, come
I really did think that I had that shit in the bag and that I was an actual FaZe member. I changed my PlayStation name right away to FaZe Mercy, which is what I wanted to be called. At the time, I used to be God Mercy, which I wasn't even in the God clan either.
fried chicken.
My Black Ops 2 custom emblem was... How do I explain this, bro? I basically made the Cincinnati Bengals logo.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I've seen a lot of those too. That you run into a lot of those too back in my day with the fucking people that had their favorite football, baseball, or like big team for sports as their emblem. I saw like Green Bay Packers for some reason.
Yeah, I saw some of those too.
Like a lot of those, like a surprising amount. And then it was either Green Bay's or Raiders.
Yeah, I gotta go take a piss real quick.
I had like this like white stick figure thing, and then it had 2 red X's over where his eyes, and then 1 red X over his mouth. His mouth would be.
Yeah, like something like that. Like that's basic, kind of funny-ish. Back in our day, stick figures were funny, and seeing him get hurt was even funnier. Remember dick figures?
Yeah, bro, dick figures, dude. Yeah, blue and red.
Blue and red. The fucking that fairy guy. I forget his name. The guy that had Tourette's.
Lord Tourette's.
Lord Tourette's.
Yeah.
What a lovely fuck we have here.
Yeah. Boy, it's such
dude,
a
that
fuck!
song, that song they made. The one that goes.
Yeah, remember the douche?
Secure the object. We're securing the headquarters. Inside the perimeter.
The douche.
Remember this? Yeah, the douche. That dude. The douche.
I'm reloading. Securing the objective now.
I remember the douche.
You know, remember the dude? He was like that purplish gray guy with the weird hair, and he thought he was cool.
What? Oh, I didn't think he was called the douche. I thought he was just.
I don't remember what he was called, but I'm pretty sure they called him the douche.
Because I think they're all based on their color. Because you have pink, you got red, you got blue, you got yellow.
But you had Lord Tourette's, and you also had that
Lord
koala.
Tourette's.
You had that Japanese koala. Remember?
He's not koala. He was a fucking trash can, aka a raccoon. And he was a raccoon. You don't remember?
Yeah, dude. I remember. It's been a long time though. Remember they had Flaymore, and it was supposed to be about Modern Warfare.
Yeah. It was the fucking. Fucking the little chopper, the waffle chopper, going that floor laughing.
Dude, Deep Space 69.
Hang on.
That was the shit, bro.
Bath Rhymes. That's the name of the song.
Laser Collection.
R&B in the house. That's Red and Blue, Red and Blues.
Locating the next objective.
Shorty make that booty clap. Put that butt into my lap.
Care package deployed.
Do you remember stick figures on crack?
Yeah, of course, dude. Everyone remembers stick figures on crack.
No.
The objective.
And then ADSF movie after that came out.
Stick figures on crack was better, bro. Remember? I'll have some tropical fruit bubblicious and some Skittles.
You ever seen the one called Rejected Cartoons?
I think I've seen a few of their videos.
This is bleeding.
Man, I really didn't watch that stuff on fucking YouTube.
I watched, what do you call it? Remember Cyanide and Happiness?
I'll forward the video to you. You gotta watch this, dude.
Enemy controls the HQ.
It's called Rejected Cartoons and Commercials. I think it's also commercials that were just rejected outright. I forget, I think it's the British or the Americans.
Oh my, what the fuck? I shot at that guy.
And one
He
of the
just
most
sucked out my
famous
bullets.
is the one where the guy there's like a dude sitting here, he's like, everyone dance! And there's another bunch of dudes like him sitting there dancing. Everyone have a good time! And like everyone's having a good time, right? But all of a sudden, it comes back to this single dude and he's sitting there and there's like this red liquid coming out from the bottom and he's like sitting there looking at it and he's like, my anus is bleeding! And they're all like dancing still, they're like,
Dude! You Naruto guy, you dipshit! Do you not know who the fuck I am?
Start knifing him. Start knifing him, Slayer.
So it got back to the point where like...
Yeah, I'm gonna knife his ass.
It got to the point where he was going... He just kept saying, my anus is bleeding.
Yeah, I'm gonna fucking knife your ass, Naruto. Come here. Come here.
And anyway, so
Yeah,
he's
that's
sitting
how
there-
I died, dipshit.
Sitting there, and all of a sudden he,
Fuck you!
Headquarters online.
All of a
Secure the
sudden-
object. We're capturing the HQ. Set security.
forget where I am.
No, I remember in high school, so this was like way later, but it was in high school. Remember there was these dudes in, I want to say it was it was like my agriculture class, and they were talking about this video called Wanna See My Pecker? That was some weird fucking shit. It was basically a dude who's sitting on a bench and then a bird shows up, a bird is sitting there and he's like, he says something to the guy, he's like, he says it like this, wanna see my pecker? And the guy's like, huh, what? And he's like, wanna see my pecker? He's like, no, oh God, no. He's like, he'll take you home. And then he proceeds to he opens up his wings and it's this fucking censored fucking dawn. I'm like, what the fuck? And then he's like, the dude's like, oh God, what the fuck? And then towards the end he's like, when I see my pecker? And he's like, no. He's like, it'll keep your head. He's like, oh, that's... And then something comes up about a fucking shark unicorn and a fucking shark with a fucking horn, and he's like, the bird's like, want to see my pecker? And the guy's like, yes, I want to see your pecker. And he's like, here it is, and he points to his beak, and he's like, what? He's like, no, show me your thing. It was a fucking weird video.
Get it secured. The enemy's capturing the objective.
Nothing, I don't know, man. My favorite, Guagma. What was your favorite episode of Dick Figures, bro?
Return to base.
Mine had to be the zombie apocalypse one. You know, the one where they're trying to open up the bag of Doritos with a shotgun. And then they're like, there's a zombie apocalypse happening. I don't know if I'm gonna get hit with copyright.
Chips open for like a week. This bag was made by Satan. See? It just wants some chips. Zombies! Oh, damn. 2 chains back. Come on, dude. I'm so fat.
Nah, Lord Tourette's, bro. I'm so fucked! Alright, that's gonna be the end of this fucking broadcast.